Rev up your engines!
Lanini says, is it normal for my new GMC Canyons oil to smell like fuel? No, that's not normal. Oil should smell like oil. If your oil smells like fuel, it means that there's a problem. And somehow fuel is getting into the oil. That's often a leaking fuel pressure regulator, leaking fuel injector. Something's wrong that it's pumping too much fuel into the engine, and the excess fuel gets by the piston rings, and that gets into the engine oil. It should not smell like fuel, period. No car, the oil should ever smell like fuel. Not like dirty oil, yeah, but even my old Celica, it's got 240,000 miles. The oil still smells like oil. It doesn't smell like fuel because it's running right. Ben Krause says, Scotty, I'm thinking about getting a 13 to 16 F-150 four-wheel drive as a daily driver. Really hauling things from Home Depot and occasionally towing a camper. Which engine would be best? Yeah, you're going to do stuff like that hauling. You're really better with the V8 engine. They're just made to take the power. The V6 engines, they don't have the horsepower, and they wear out fast, and they're not as much fun to drive. And really, the gas mileage differential isn't all that much. I would definitely go for the V8 engine in the Fords. I've always liked the V8 Ford engines. I was never a fan of much of their V6 ones. Obasea says, what is the major problem of a Nissan Pathfinder? Okay, the biggest thing is they got two problems. One is their automatic transmissions are relatively weak. They're made by the Jatco company that Nissan runs, and they're relatively weak. As they age, generally, their engines just flat wear out in those things. I've had a lot of customers, so they bring them in, and I'd say, look, let me do a test on it. And I'll do a wet and dry compression test, take out all the spark plugs, and find out that, hey, when I do the wet compression test, it's a lot higher than the dry compression test, which means the piston rings are worn, and they burn a lot of oil, and then, you're not going to spend money rebuilding an engine as they age. Generally, people get rid of them. You can pick up used ones cheap. I mean, it's not hard to do, and if they run okay, what the heck? If you buy something for $1,000, $1,500 and it lasts you a few years, you're making out like a gangbuster anyway. Fastlane A says, looking to get a 74 AMC Javelin AMX with a Go-Pack 360 4-speed, 12 boot rear end. What are your thoughts, yay or nay? Okay, I'm assuming you're a Canadian saying, hey, yeah, those are cool cars, you know. I mean, they're starting to get somewhat more popular and their prices are going up, but with the Go-Pack and the 360 4-speed, those are fun things to drive around. They were weird cars in their day, you know, and that was the end of AMC soon after the 74. And then Chrysler ended up buying, the only thing they bought them for was they wanted the Jeeps, and they stopped making all the other stuff that they were making in Indianapolis, so now that's all gone. But they're fun little cars to drive around. Don't think it's going to be daily driver, but for a fun project cars, hey, what the heck. Zach Prince says, how do you remove super glue on car paint? There is a thing called super glue remover, and I've got tubes of it lying around because I'm always worried if I get on my fingers they're going to stick together, so I've got some lying around. Try that. The only problem is if that super glue's been on there a long time, it's probably eaten through your clear coat and gotten down to the bare metal, and you might find that the paint's going to look like crap. But if you want to try it, get that super glue remover. It's a paste, comes in a tube. Amazon sells it. You can get it anywhere. Follow the directions, and don't do it in the hot sun. Do it in the shade, early in the morning or early in the evening when the car paint isn't hot, because you want to make it not eat through anything as much as possible. Vado575 says, love your show, Scotty. I have an 89 F-150 with 300 LS 5-speed. The truck runs fine until it starts back up when it's warmed up. Then it has a misfire. I replaced the plugs in the distributor cap. Okay, it's an 89. That thing is old enough that all kinds of things can go wrong, but still, unless it's been changed out, it should still be a fuel-injected vehicle. And as such, as they age, the fuel injectors get old. When you turn the car off, they seep a little. So when it's warmed up and you shut it off, they seep fuel into the intake and they flood out the engine. I see that all the time. If it is a simple one like a throttle body and it's only got one or two fuel injectors, heck, just buy the new fuel injectors and put them in. A lot of times they'll fix the whole thing. That's a very common problem as they age with the older fuel injection systems. On the carbureted models, it was the carburetor being bad, and they leaked a little bit of fuel when they were hot and flood them out. Same thing. Nick Anderson says, Scotty, I got a 94 Chevy Cavalier Z24 with 126,000 miles. It's a good idea to tag it as a classic and park it and work on it. Is it a good project car? Well, if you like it, you know. The Cavaliers were never really collector's items. They didn't really have classic lines and stuff. They got that funky kind of boxy body style that people never really cared for. If you want a project car to mess around with, don't put a ton of money in it. I mean, it's not something like, you know, a classic 67 Mustang that can be worth a lot of money when it's all done over. It'll never be worth a whole bunch of money. But if you want something to toy around with, what the heck? You're not going to get much selling. And if you want a toy to make into whatever you want to do, if you want to put a turbocharger, think about it, you know? Just don't think you're ever going to get a bunch of money for it.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.